Tonight I'm going to show you how to make a rose granny square. We did this one in my classroom last week, and there were a lot of questions. We had to really work on it to make it work and come out right and turn into a square. So when I got home, I looked at the pattern. I saw where the flaw was in the pattern, and it was from taking a 6-petaled flower and trying to turn it into a square. One of the things that I had told my students was that technically we probably should have had 8 petals. That way you can have four corners and make the square. So the way I start this revamp here, as I do a magic circle. My way of doing magic circles different from most everybody else, but then if you follow me for any period of time, you will see a lot of things that I do is different from everybody else. So it's a very simple thing. I put my yarn around my fingers and I have it between my 2 fingers here. I grab a hold of the yarn, bring it towards me, turn it away from me, and slip it back on that finger. It's easy. I mean, it's all I really need. So for the magic ring, I just go through the yarn is passed over and going back over my finger so that I know I need to come from the front here, grab my yarn, and I leave it on my finger. This is what I tell my students. Don't take it off your finger. It has the option or the ability to come loose and really make you mad. So once I have this secured with a slip stitch, I'm going to go ahead and do 8 single crochet in the ring. So I will pause this here and come right back. Okay, so I've made 8 single crochet in the ring and I've taken it off of my finger, and this is what I tell my class. Always pull that ring super tight once you get those on there, so you have your 8 single crochet, which you can see in this ring. And by the way, I'm using my 5mm hook. It's my favorite hook. And I will always work my yarn in. I don't weave it in at the end. I'm really lazy when it comes to weaving in yarn ends. I hate doing it. So I work over my yarn ends. So the way I do that is I go ahead and slip stitch, join the 8th single crochet to the first one, move that yarn end over the front so that it's laying there, and then I pull up a loop. I've joined my single crochet into a ring, chain 1, and now the pattern that we used before called for a single crochet in the same loop or in the same stitch, chain 3. So the way I do that is I'm going to go ahead and go single crochet. I keep moving this yarn end, and then I flip it over my single crochet, and I chain 3, flipping it back and forth. This may or may not guarantee that it's going to come out, but I can tell you 50 years of crocheting, I've never had anything come out as me using it this way by working it in. So the pattern works like this: single crochet, chain 3, then single crochet in the next chain, or single crochet, I'm sorry, in the next single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the next, chain 3, and the whole time I'm working over that yarn end, so I'm hiding it in my yarn, and I don't have to work it in later on. I won't have to sew it in or weave it in. And then the very next one, you do the same thing over and over again. So we have a single crochet there. We're going to go into the next single crochet, chain 3, and we'll do that all the way around. Now I have 6 in there already, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain 3 loops. I have 2 left to do. So my last 2, this is a single crochet in the single crochet, chain 3, and we have now 7 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this last chain 3 we're going to join to this first single crochet, and that gives you 8 chain loops. Now the pattern was written thusly, and it was a free pattern. I don't know the name of it right off the top of my head, but the point was it didn't work for us and I had to revise it. So just going from memory here, because I don't have the pattern in front of me and I am catching a cold, so I'm sorry about my voice. We're going to go ahead, we have joined it with a slip stitch, and in the very next loop we're going to go ahead and pull up a loop, stitch 1 or slip stitch 1, chain 1, and start with the petals. So we're going to go single crochet, chain 1, and that acts as the very first double crochet in this petal. And then you're going to do 5 more double crochets in the same loop. To finish off the petal, you chain 2 and single crochet back into that same loop. This gives it the petal shape, as you can see. Immediately to the next loop, you go ahead and single crochet, chain 1, 5 double crochet in the next chain loop. Chain 2, single crochet in the same loop, second petal made. We'll do one more. We're going to skip this single crochet that was from the row before, single crochet, chain 1, 5 double crochet in the same loop. Chain 2, single crochet in that same loop one more time, and we will do this in every loop around until we have 8 petals around the flower. So this is what it looks like with 3. I'll join you back when I get ready to do the 8th one. I have 7 petals now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm sorry, looks like I missed one somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So even expert crocheters or people who have advanced skills make mistakes. I had completely glossed over from this petal to this petal and skipped that loop. I had to go back and pull out all the way back to there so I could do my petal in there. Now I have 7 petals. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 petals, and here is the loop for the 8th petal. So the last petal, just like the rest, single crochet in the loop, chain 1, 5 double crochet in the same loop, chain 2, and single crochet back in that same chain loop from the row before. Slip stitch into that first single crochet, and now we're going to set up the row, the petals or the loops for the second row of petals. So our flower is kind of ruffly, but it needs to be that way in order for us to make a square out of it, and it just makes it a little bit more feminine, a little bit more flowery. Jeez. So to do this, I'm going to chain 1, and as I'm working, I'm going to go behind my yarn, bring my hook up through the front around that loop or that chain post from before, and pull up a loop, finish the single crochet. Now we're going to chain 3 here, and we're going to complete that around. So I have my first chain 3 loop. I'm going to go ahead from behind, bring my hook through from the back to the front, around that post of the single crochet from the row before, grab the yarn, pull up a loop. I have 2 loops on my hook, pull through, complete the single crochet, chain 3. And we're going to do that in every petal around until we have 8 more loops on the back of the flower. Okay, bring your hook around from the back, through the front, around that post of the single crochet, grab your yarn, pull it through, complete the single crochet, chain 3, all the way around. When we get to the last loop, I have now done 7 loops on the back of this rose. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my final one. I've chained 3 and I'm going to join it to that first single crochet that I made at the very beginning to finish this off. And you're going to join this with a slip stitch. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. Starting in that first loop, we're going to go ahead and pull up a loop, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and this time we're going to do 7 double crochets in this chain loop. That's a wrap. Go through the loop, grab the yarn, pull it up, 3 loops on your hook, pull through 2, pull through 2. For anybody who doesn't know double crochet, that's how it's done. So you wrap your yarn, go through the loop, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, double crochet. So we're going to go ahead and do that for 7 times. So here is the very first stitch, which is the single crochet, chain 1. This is your first double crochet plus 7 more regular double crochets. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to do 3 more in this chain loop to finish this petal. I'm going to chain 2 and finish off by a single crochet in that same loop, and move to the next loop and continue all the way around. So single crochet, chain 1, 7 double crochet, chain 2, single crochet back into that same chain loop, move to your next chain loop, single crochet, chain 1, 7 double crochet, and do this all the way around until you get to the final petal, and I'll join you back. I want you to notice that the flower is very roughly. That's because we added 2 petals to make this work out into a square, so it's not as flat as the pattern, but with my changes to it, it makes it a little bit more of a 3-dimensional flower. For the last petal, we're going to do the same as we have all the other ones, and that's a single crochet, chain 1, 7 double crochet, all in this same chain loop, chain 2, and then a single crochet back in that same chain loop, and join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet. We're going to do the chain loops on the back one more time, but this is not for flowers. This is actually to start the granny square. So chain 1, and we're going to start using this actual single crochet from the row right behind these petals that we built. So we're going to chain one, bring our hook down behind that flower in the petal, over that single crochet, and as before, pull up a loop, finish your single crochet, and chain 3. And we'll do that all the way around using this row of single crochets as the foundation and the place to put the single crochets for this final round, which starts the granny square itself. So chain 3, hook from the back to the front over that single crochet loop right there, pull up a loop, finish your single crochet, chain 3, and continue around using the second row of single crochet posts from your bigger petals as your place to join your single crochets and start the next round of loops. And I'll join you back. Once we've done all 8 of those, or all 7 of them, so it looks like this on the back where we have the chain loops, and we get back to the first one more time. We will slip stitch into that first single crochet, pull up a loop, do one chain, and this was where I cut it because I will be using a different color now. So I will go ahead and pull that tight, and then I will show you the anatomy of this flower. So now you have these chain loops in the back. This is where we will build our our granny square, and this is what it looks like on the front. If you smooth it out with your fingers, you can see the 2 rows of petals. There are 8 petals on each row, and you have the original starting center, which was 8 single crochet, a single crochet in the first one, chain 3, single crochet in the next one, chain 3. This is the way this flower starts out. I modified the pattern to make it work for my class, and it works so much better than the original pattern. So once we turn this over, you can see the back side of the stitches. This is for people who get confused about what the back side of a double crochet looks like versus the front side. The back side has a definite look about it. You can see the different bumps here that make it up. You can see the long stitches that I call legs, or you can, you'll figure out your own name for it. And then on the front side of the stitches, you can see that flatness that I have talked about before, where the stitches are very kind of flat and uniform, but you also see the curve of the V stitches as you build the petals. So this is the rose flower, or whatever you want to call it. We're calling it a rose because it kind of looks like a 2 rows of petals out of a rose. I'm decided to use green as the next row, or as the first round, as leaves, so that it sets this pink off a little bit. And I'm going to do this by putting a slip knot on my hook, and then we're going to start with just any loop on the petal or on the flower. And the way I start this is a standing double crochet. Different people do it different ways. You can join it, chain 3, you can join it with a single crochet, chain 1, however you're comfortable doing it. I have been doing it this way forever. So I have the slip knot on my hook, I wrap my hook with the yarn, go through the loop, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and then I hold that chain at the back, and there's my first double crochet. We're going to start with the corner, so I'll go ahead and do this again, where we do a double crochet. We're going to go ahead, one more double crochet in that chain loop, and as you see, I'm feeding that yarn tail around so I can hide it in my work, and I won't have to tie it off later or weave it in. It'll be hidden. And then I chain 2, and in that same loop I'm going to do 3 more double crochets, which is a granny cluster, a granny stitch, whatever you want to call this. People call it something different. Everybody has different names for what they do. It's a granny cluster, and a cluster is a group of stitches. In this case, the cluster is 3 double crochets. Here's your first corner. Now we're going to go ahead and continue. I've got that pink yarn from the row before. In this next loop, I'm going to do 3 double crochets. No chains between this group and this group. We're doing a granny square. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 more double crochet in here, and this is what I call a side cluster. You have your corner cluster, you have your side cluster, and continuing on, the next thing is a corner. So we're going to go ahead and do a corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in that same chain loop. And if you think about this mathematically, you understand why it takes 8 instead of 6, because you need to have 4 corners, so you need at least 8 to make this work out. So you have a corner, a side cluster, and a corner, and now we're back to a side cluster again. So I'll go ahead and do 3 double crochets here, and a corner, which is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, all in the same loop, three double crochet in the next chain loop, and a corner, I have to pull some slack out of this new skein of yarn here, and a corner equals 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, all in the same loop, and then 1 side cluster between this corner and this corner, and we will be finishing off this round. And this is the first round of granny square, which will make it easy for you to build and add other granny squares to it. So we've come to the last one. There's no chain in between this cluster and this cluster. The only place you have chain stitches is in the corners. So I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch between, or in this first double crochet that I made. And then I have taught my students to chain 2 and start from where they're at, making their next cluster. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 2 double crochet. So I've got the chain 2 acting as my first double crochet, and then I have 2 double crochet there. This is my first side cluster on the next round. Now a corner in a corner, that's 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet, and in the next space you're going to do a side cluster of 3 double crochet, another side cluster, 3 double crochet, and back to the corner where we do a corner in the corner, which is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, all in one corner. And we'll do this all the way around, and I'll join you back here when I get to the end.